Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. And I have to say, we intend to just give you a sense of what is happening, what the challenges are, without going into details about other matters, because the situation is still very volatile and there are moving pieces. So for security purposes, I hope you will understand that there will be parts that we are not going to refer to. Currently, what I can say, I'm sure you will be quite aware that on the 22nd, there was complete hostilities that occurred in the DRC. And coincidentally, I happened to have been in the DRC on Wednesday last week. So I was in Kinshasa, and then we heard that when we were in Kinshasa, that's when we got information that there were attacks that happened at Saki. No, it's Saki. So Saki is not very far from Goma. So then we flew to Goma, where we met the leadership of Summit DRC to get a full explanation as to what was happening, what were the issues, and what were the challenges. After meeting the Summit DRC leadership, which your force commander and their assistants, then we went to the Goma airport also to get information. That's where our strategic capabilities are, our special forces, our supplies that are there. But we also had an opportunity to visit all the injured soldiers who were in Goma at the Summit DRC facility, but some of them were at the United Nations facility. At that stage, our priority was to make sure that we go and even before we came, the first thing we did was to make sure that we go and retrieve the injured in Saki. With the UN, with the support of the UN, we flew in and removed all the deceased and the injured, and they were taken to Goma. That's why I said I had the opportunity to meet all the injured in Goma. And that's when we lost the 11. So from Goma, we went to MONUSCO, again in Kivu, to really also get a sense of what is happening, because we have your Summit DRC forces, we have the MONUSCO forces. The MONUSCO will be the forces that are led by the United Nations, and the Summit DRC are led by SADC. We also got an update and we left from there. So, as I said, the idea really was to come and speak to the media. We are ready to give, because there's still lots of loose pieces, we will give a proper rundown in terms of what happened when one time. But currently, our position as South Africa, we've been meeting as the troop force contributing countries of Summit DRC, which is us, Tanzania, and Malawi, under SADC, to assess the situation. So on a daily basis, we've been meeting. On a 2-hourly basis, we get updates and reports of what is happening. But we also, as I say, we have also UNESCO forces which are under UNESCO. So under the SADC forces, we've been meeting as the Troika. We met the other night, but the general posture that we are taking as a Summit DRC is to force the parties to go into a peaceful negotiation. Because our sense is that war is not going to be won through arms. It can be only won if people sit down and negotiate. So we have called for a ceasefire. I can assure South Africans that our camps have not been attacked for the past 48 hours because, unfortunately for us, when we're at Goma, your DRC forces were fighting Rwandan forces over our heads. That's where we lost the 3 people. So we had to quickly communicate with M23 to say, we're not part of the battle, so don't fight over our heads. And indeed, that's why then we agreed with them that we'll host a white flag to say, we're not part of the battle, we don't want to be dragged into it. But also, M23 needed a free passage to go to Saki, to go and collect and retrieve their deceased people. So then we agreed on a ceasefire whereby they will get a free trade a free passage. We will not fire at their movement, because if they move, we are not sure which direction. So there was a clear ceasefire which was agreed by the generals from M23, but also by our generals. So that process has happened. Even now, as I say, there's never been any attack since the ceasefire that we requested or we instructed from M23. The latest information that I got around 1 o'clock said there's intense fighting in Goma between your M23 and your DRC forces, and the place is completely tense and the difficulties. So that's why we're communicating after every 2 hours to check what the situation is, and that's where we are. But from our side, there's been no activity, there's been no attacks. As a country, we've just read, as I say, we keep on a 2-hourly basis to check if there's anything that we need to do to improve the situation. But the president also has been in constant contact with the president of the DRC, with the summit DRC leadership, which is led by the secretary in Botswana. Last night with an engagement, I think the minister may speak about, with under the leadership of Tanzania, which is leading the process. But we are also speaking to all other forces like Angola, because Angola was responsible for the peace talks. So Angola also is being brought in. There's also discussions which include Rwanda, because it is alleged to be also one of the big perpetrators, and that's why we're keeping communications with them.